Just what are
Yeah.
your plans for the off season and possibly playing or just doing individual workouts?
Yeah, I mean, probably take a little bit of a break here, just for maybe a week. I don't really want to lose a ton of the stuff I've worked on, and just trying to get my body back to full health. There's some USA basketball stuff I need to get ready for.
Imagine the biggest star in the world, 1 year into her contract, quietly issuing an ultimatum to her own team. It sounds like something out of a basketball fever dream, but that's the shockwave tearing through the WNBA right now. The reports are undeniable. Caitlin Clark is no longer just the star guard. She's an absolute menace who just threatened her own franchise with an unofficial exit if they didn't save two specific players from free agency. This isn't just about a star wanting her friends back. This is about a ruthless strategic power move that exposed the Indiana Fever's front office and revealed the true depth of Clark's influence. But this entire drama isn't about her contract. It's about two teammates, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, who were about to be cut loose, and the shocking demand that was secretly delivered. Before we dive deeper into this explosive situation, let's take a step back and understand just how unprecedented this moment truly is. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA as the most hyped rookie in league history. Her college career at Iowa shattered viewership records, brought unprecedented attention to women's basketball, and created a cultural phenomenon that transcended sports. When she was drafted first overall by the Indiana Fever, expectations weren't just high, they were astronomical. The Fever went from being one of the league's struggling franchises to selling out arenas overnight. Merchandise flew off shelves. Television ratings doubled and tripled. Clark wasn't just a basketball player. She became the face of a movement, the catalyst for women's basketball's explosive growth into mainstream consciousness. But what nobody expected was how quickly she would translate that cultural power into actual organizational leverage. We've seen superstars influence roster decisions before, but typically that comes after years of proven success, multiple championships, or at least a few all-star appearances. Clark is doing this after just one season. A season where, despite her individual brilliance, the Fever didn't even make a deep playoff run. This isn't earned through championships. This is pure star power, pure market value, pure recognition that she is the WNBA's most valuable asset, and she knows it. The crisis stems from a cold, brutal financial reality that hit the Fever the moment the season ended. Only 3 players are guaranteed to be on the roster for 2026. Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Michaela Timson. Everyone else is a free agent, including fan favorites like Hull and Cunningham, who were suddenly on the chopping block and ready to walk. Management's public stance was that they wanted everyone back. But behind the scenes, the calculus was already done. One of the biggest names on the market would have to be sacrificed to manage the cap, and the initial sacrifice was brutal. To understand why this situation became so volatile, you need to understand the WNBA salary structure and how dramatically different it is from other major professional sports leagues. The WNBA salary cap for 2025 is approximately $1.46 million per team. Yes, million with an M for an entire 12-player roster. That's less than what many NBA benchwarmers make individually. The maximum salary for a superstar player is around $241,000, which sounds decent until you realize that's the absolute ceiling for the best players in the world. Most players make between $60,000 and $100,000 annually, forcing many to play overseas during the off-season just to make a living wage. This financial constraint creates an environment where every contract decision is magnified, where keeping even one additional role player can force impossible choices elsewhere on the roster. In this context, the Fever's front office found themselves in an impossible position. They have the league's brightest star in Caitlin Clark commanding maximum salary. They have Aaliyah Boston, the 2023 Rookie of the Year and a rising star in her own right, also commanding premium money. They need to resign Kelsey Mitchell, their veteran all-star guard, who has been the franchise's most consistent scorer for years, and now they're facing demands to retain both Lexie Hull and Sophie Cunningham. 2 players who exceeded expectations, but who also command respectable salaries in this constrained market. The math simply doesn't work. Something has to give. Insiders reveal the original chilling plan. The Fever front office was prepared to quietly let restricted free agent Lexie Hull walk. As a restricted free agent, Indiana had the right to match any offer she received. But the reports say they were expecting her to get bigger bids from other teams and had already made the decision not to match them. This was a calculated, quiet, cost-cutting measure designed to preserve funds for other priorities. It was a cold-hearted betrayal of a player who stepped up when the stars were hurt. And the executives believed they could get away with it because it would happen silently in the offseason. And this quiet decision is exactly what triggered the true behind-the-scenes showdown that would change everything. Lexie Hull's situation is particularly heartbreaking when you examine her journey. A second-round draft pick in 2022, Hull wasn't expected to be a major contributor. She spent her rookie season mostly on the bench, averaging just 3.4 points per game. But in 2024, everything changed. When injuries hit the Fever roster, Hull stepped up in a massive way. She became one of the league's most efficient three-point shooters, hitting over 40% from beyond the arc. She provided crucial spacing for Clark to operate, became a reliable defender, and showed the kind of work ethic and team-first mentality that coaches dream about. She transformed from a roster afterthought into a genuine contributor on a team that was suddenly relevant again. And her award for this breakout season: the front office was ready to let her walk without a fight, treating her like a disposable asset in their financial calculations. Sophie Cunningham's story adds another layer to this drama. Cunningham wasn't even originally on the Fever roster. She came over in a mid-season trade from the Phoenix Mercury, where she had been a fan favorite and a key role player for years. The trade was seen as a win-now move by the Fever, bringing in a veteran presence with playoff experience to help guide the young core. Cunningham immediately clicked with Clark, providing veteran leadership, tough defense, and clutch shooting. The chemistry was undeniable both on and off the court. But now, as an unrestricted free agent, Cunningham faced the very real possibility of being a one-season rental brought in to help the playoff push and then discarded when the financial realities hit. Suddenly, the whispers started. Rumors began flying that Clark's camp had stepped in, demanding an immediate review of the roster strategy. This was no polite chat about player development. It was a clear intervention. Sources claim Clark was quietly pressuring management to keep her closest allies no matter the cost, essentially forcing their hand. Then came the media storm. The talk of private meetings with General Manager Amber Cox and discussions about core preferences. The message was clear. If you are going to trade away my most trusted chemistry partners to save money, you will disrupt my entire plan for this franchise. The timing of Clark's intervention is crucial to understanding the full scope of this power move. This didn't happen during the season when emotions run high and decisions are made in the heat of competition. This happened during the calculated cold business period of the offseason, when front offices are supposed to have complete control over roster construction. Clark essentially hijacked the entire free agency strategy before it could even unfold. She didn't wait to see what offers Hull and Cunningham received. She didn't wait for the front office to present their plan. She preemptively declared her position and dared them to cross her. That level of proactive control is what separates this from typical player input. This is a player dictating terms before the game even begins. This level of control is unprecedented for players so early in their career. Now, everyone is comparing it to the kind of player and organization you see in the NBA, specifically a LeBron James-like influence. Clark's goal is simple: stability. She wants her Lexie's trio, Clark, Hull, and Cunningham, intact for the title run she's planning. As Cunningham herself once mentioned, when you have a generational talent like Clark, she should have a lot to say about the system. Clark has the power to change the WNBA. Now, she's using that power to change her own team's front office, and it seems to have worked. But this isn't a fairy tale of friendship. This ruthless power move has a hidden cost: sacrificing another crucial star in the OIT process. Let's examine the LeBron James comparison more closely because it's both accurate and revealing. LeBron James comparison more closely because it's both accurate and revealing. LeBron famously influenced roster decisions throughout his career. From his first stint in Cleveland through his Miami Heat years with the Big Three, his return to Cleveland, where he helped orchestrate the Kevin Love trade, and his Lakers tenure, where his preferences have shaped multiple rosters. But LeBron earned that influence through 4 championships, 10 finals appearances, and nearly 2 decades of sustained excellence. He proved he knew how to build winning teams. Clark is attempting to wield similar influence with 1 season under her belt, no championships, and no proven track record of evaluating talent at the professional level. She's operating entirely on star power and